please open up this portion here called O4 sectional perspective. This one. Let's run through this part first. I will do a run you through step by step, okay, so that you can have a clear idea how it is done. Now, in an event, you will likely forget by next week, so please refer to the lesson notes here. It gives you a step-by-step approach on how to go from start to the end, at least for this part here. It's very, very important. There's a good likelihood also that this sectional perspective is an IDS3 submission requirement. So traditionally, we have always been having this method, okay, or using this method of presentation. Okay, once you have this opened up, can we first of all go to the second story? Open up the second story here, this one. We have time, don't worry, we'll go real slow. I'll stop whenever everybody's held up. So what's going to happen is, in sectional perspectives, usually such things happen. You want to see the big grandeur, so you also want to be showing off the interior of the built environment, but you want to show it in its section form. So you will chop away parts of that building, so you will see the internal parts of which, so that you can greatly highlight, okay, the activities that goes on inside these areas, these spaces that are being created. All right, so that's how it essentially works. Traditionally, we didn't have much methods to use, so we can only use at most AutoCAD. So you working on using this method in AutoCAD literally means a student has to spend at least 2 to 3 days just working on this alone. Drawing out the section is the easy part. The harder part will be to project the lines back in to form a perspectival view in which they have to draw in all the details and everything. Alright, but in using Revit, this becomes a 1-minute affair, really quickly. Just once you have the model ready, your everything is ready. Okay, let's figure out how to work on this. Now with this, the very first thing we do is, now we start off using the second floor. It is because we want to see it from a higher point, so that you can look down. The perspective is not on the ground level. If not, we could have started off using the first floor anyway. Alright, with this, go to View, click on the 3D View drop down list, and look for camera, this one. And I would like you to plot where you stand at this point on the left to what we will be looking all the way at the right. Now, if you are like me, you cannot judge the lines accurately and all. What will be good is, you might want to go to Architecture and click on Model Line. to add in a model line first. So at least it gives us a visual gauge on this, where so that we can try to put in the camera as straight as possible. Okay, so after this is done, click on camera again. We are going to start here. And then we are going to prepare a line as parallel as possible. Somewhere here this way. Okay, so when done, just click on it. You should end up with a 3D view here and a very small opening of what will be the perspective view, the 3D view this way. Okay, any problems so far? No, very good. Now before we go any further though, I want you to zoom out a little bit. You see down here, this is your crop region. Okay, this blue colored rectangle with handles, okay, are your crop regions. So what I want you guys to do is take this and stretch it out, open it up, keep opening it until we can see the entire building inside this crop region here, this way. See, notice even if I try to do this so precisely as much as I can, it still looks a little bit off. But that's the straightest I can go at that, alright? This way down here. Okay, try not to go too far beyond. As long as you can see the entire building, that's good enough. So we pull the crop region back in a little bit. Okay, just like that. Something like that is good enough already. Okay, at this part. Can follow? Am I going too quickly? All good? Okay, once this part of the work is done, then great. Now before we move on next, right? This part most of us will forget by next week. Trust me on that. Now, I want you to check this little box down here where I highlighted called section box. I want you to check it so that it appears, this part. Check this. You should now see a converging box like this. Very hard to control from our viewpoint down here. Okay, so really hard. It's going to be something like that for now. Any problems? Must activate that. If not, sectional perspective won't happen. Okay. Now once we have this already, great. Let's go back to type WT to split two views. If you are like me right now, you have three views because just now we opened our first story and forgot to close it. So right now you close it. Close the first story. Shut this down. Type WT again. Here's what I want you to see. This way. Something like that. Let me know if I'm going too quickly. Alright. Next, here's what's going to happen. We are going to use the plan. Okay, we are going to make use of the plan here to cut the section first so that we can then see it on this area here. Okay, that's the idea. Now, select the plan, but don't select anything. Go to the project browser and look for the 3D view. It should be 3D view 1, okay, based on this exercise. And you will right click it and click on show section box. this one. Can happen. You click on it now, you should see the section box appearing on the plan. Now, this line here where I put a highlighted red line here, okay, is the button knife. So where this line goes equals to what it will chop up, what it will cut up from there. Alright? So we are going to now shift this inside to about, say, close to the balcony here. Let's zoom in a little bit and take a closer look. Somewhere here will do. Okay, somewhere here will do. This way. Alright? Okay, now let's look at it from on the left side of the diagram here, the viewport. Do you now, okay, let's expand this. Are you able to now see the sectional perspective already? If you change this shading mode down here to say shaded mode, you probably have a clearer idea here. Okay, can see? Who cannot do this? All can, 100% literacy is a requirement, okay? Must be able to achieve. Trust me, your presentation level will improve a lot once you get this part in. For some of you who has, your spaces are really quite multiple levels kind of situation, that would really help. Okay? Now, once you have this already, what I want us to do is, now, do you notice that now the crop rectangle looks gigantic? It looks oversized and too big. Okay, we don't want this to happen, so we want to tidy things up by moving it closer. So now let's adjust the crop region closer, as close as we can to the edge of the spaces here. This way, something like that. Okay, this way. Don't get confused. Do not select the section box. That's the box with converging lines. You don't want to touch the section box anymore once the section is done up nicely for this particular view, okay? Keep it that way, don't touch it for now. So in order to ensure that the section box doesn't get disrupted or doesn't get printed, we don't want it to appear in this drawing anymore or this viewport anymore, alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to select it now, select this section box, right click it and click on hide in view elements here, down here. Let me know if you need me to show you again, alright? Now once you have this, click on elements, hide in view elements, and it will not appear anymore, it's gone already. Okay, in an event you use this, you start showing the tutors. Tutor says or your IDS lecturer tells you, hey, maybe this view not very good, maybe you should section it inner and so on. You got to move it in and stuff. So what you can do is you can unhide it. Okay, you can call it back up again. Alright, so it's under this button here. You see this little light bulb here. This light bulb function is to show what is hidden in view. So when you click on this, you will see that the viewport now turns magenta and then you will now see the hidden elements in magenta also. So what we can do is we can now select this item, the section box, right click again. You now see an additional item inside here called Unhide in View. We can unhide in view and click on elements again, and then now we switch off the light bulb. You will find that the section box reappears. Please do not fall into the trap. Be careful. Do not fall into the trap where I highlighted right now of clicking away the section box. It's very, very easy to forget. I want to hide it, right? Okay, let's just deselect it, then it's gone already. So when you do that, when you deselect it, okay, unfortunately, when you deselect it, it's gone. So is your sectional perspective. So it could be, hey, wait, let me reactivate this again. When you do that, it doesn't heal or it does not go back to where you set it to be anymore. That means you need to redo the cut again and everything. Okay, so be quite careful not to have this happening. All right, so if you want it to be there but you don't want to see the section box, select it, right click, and hide in view elements it this way. Okay, right now this is done, so I'm going to change it to hidden line so I can use it for documentation purposes this way. All right. Before we move further though, what we can do is we are going to then, okay, these things are only useful when we put it into sheets so that they can be printed nicely. So what is going to happen is we are going to right click on sheets now and click on new sheet down here. Usually this is more for presentation than for technical documentation. To draw sectional perspectives for technical documentation is an overkill because it's just too much effort for anyone to do. If you don't use Revit, this is easily 1 to 2 days worth of work for anybody. Okay, so not acceptable. Too much labor. So what's going to happen is you really want to show that big and large. So usually when you have this kind of situation, you might be considering using AO or A1 size and everything. Okay, but for the purpose of this exercise right now, we are going to use A3 size. So use A3 size and click OK. So you now see a typical table or typical title block. So with this, simply just drag the 3D view now into the viewport, into the drawing sheet here. And there you go. That is the sectional perspective. Okay. Doing this will get you probably a C passing grade or something because you already demonstrated you know how to do it. So if you want to do it better, so how to score better and everything, all right. With this, clean up the drawing or make it. You notice down here, improve on it. These parts here are like quite a fair bit of empty space all over the place, okay, which is not fully utilized. So we want to make good use of it by selecting the viewport and clicking on size crop. By clicking on size crop will allow us to adjust the scale of the image itself or the scale of the drawing, bigger or smaller. Hello? But you must do certain things here. Okay, I remember this figure already, so I memorized it. So you just punch it in, alright? Just put in 400. 400 means it is going to stretch this drawing frame to 400. I know that A3 size is 420, so if I stretch it to 400, I still have some margin, so it's alright. Okay, at that. Now, do not change the field of view. Click on this, scale, log proportions, this part. This one. Choose this option here. You must use this. So what happens is when you stretch it wider, it's going to grow taller as well. So it's stretching to proportion this way. Alright. Once this is done, click OK. And you find that the drawing now grows a lot bigger. So we can make the necessary provisions and adjustments for it until it fits nicely. After this, okay, notice here the line is incredibly long as well. And then this is what 3D view one, not really the best way to present the information properly. So what we want to do is we want to rename it nicely, okay? So right click on here and click rename under views, this 3D view one, and click rename. Alright, rename it. So we're gonna call it sectional perspective. Okay, if you do a few, then sectional perspective 01, if not 02, etc, 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 and then click OK. See how nice a life you have because you know how to use Revit already. You can produce in about 5 minutes what your seniors will take 2 days to produce. Okay, so in that it's a great luxury at this point when time is a constraint. Alright, after this is done, select the drawing tag, just to revise, select the drawing tag and shift it to an appropriate location where there will be no clutter and it will look neat. And then notice many of you fall into this trap of leaving the drawing tag line this way, this long. So it is inappropriate. You can simply do so by clicking on the viewport and reducing this line here until it is to the length that we need as such. This way. So by doing that, almost the sectional perspective is done. Quick and easy. Okay. And when done, simply just Ctrl P it. Okay, Ctrl P to print it. Now I understand some of you, or not everybody, has an Acrobat or Adobe PDF loaded. Okay, if you don't have some of these things, what will be good is you go and download from these two sites. They are free and they are not pirated. Either you do a search on Cube PDF or do a search for PDF 24. These two. Alright. I used to PDF 24 for a very, very long time, more than a decade now. So still alive, so still good. Okay. And then with this, click on Setup. Click on this portion on Setup, and make sure you change it to say A3 size. And this part here, click on Center, and make sure the colors are black lines so that you'll print out technical documentation. Okay, all good. Now, after this, okay, and click preview to take a look. See if you have this just right. Now, for some of you, when you are able to see the paper size already, you know that the scaling is incorrect. Okay, rightfully, this would be how it will look. The edge of the title block is very, very close. So close, in fact, it's only 10, 5, 5 here. Alright. In any case, till now, after 3 years already, you still don't know what these little things are for. In the title block, they are there for a purpose. Okay. These little ones here, these 3 vertical lines here are actually for markers for you to do stapling. If you staple at these 3 points, even though you don't have any binding, it will hold together. Okay. Now, this one, these are markers or center markers for your hole puncher. If you use this line here as a gauge for center, you should punch 2 holes here very precisely. And then if you use this as a center gauge, you will punch another 1 hole here. Use this as center gauge, you will punch another 1 hole here. So at the end of the day, you will end up with 4 holes for you to put in binding if necessary. Alright? And these little lines down here are actually for folding points for you to fold the document down. It will fold in such a way, in a zigzag manner, so that it will show up this portion in front. So imagine if you are carrying a stack of telephone thickness worth of tender drawing. So all these will be folded down to A4 size. When you flip through it like a book, you can find that particular drawing you want to be discussing with your contractors or other consultants really quickly. So there's no need to open up the drawing one by one and close back and so on. Okay, that is the fundamental design of this title block. Okay, when done, if we're happy with how it looks, now click on print and browse to designate where you want to save it to. I'm just going to put it in sectional perspective and just call it, say, O2. Okay, I'm just going to save it as, let's say, O4. And then save this. And OK. Please show me you have this out. You are able to do up to this level. Anyone? Any problems with that? Okay. Alright, everybody knows how to do this. We are building up a recording, so if you really forgot how this is done, then go through the recording again. Alright, we'll just run you through how this is built.